Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session that is on comments and docstring. So far in this series, every line of code we have written has been an instruction, something the computer actually runs. Today, we are learning how to write something different. Text that computer completely ignores, but that humans, including future you, depend on to understand code. These are called comments. And in this video, you're going to learn three ways to write them in Python. Single line comments, block comments, and a special kind of comment called a docstring, which is used specifically for documentation. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly when to use each one and why professional developers treat good comments as seriously as good code. So let's get into it. Before we write any comments, first, let's understand why they exist. Why comments exist. First, let's understand this particular part. Why comments exist. When you write a code, it might make perfect sense to you right now, but come back to that same code in 3 months or hand it to a teammate, and suddenly it's not obvious what a piece of code is doing or why you wrote it that way. Comments solve that problem. Comments solve that problem. Comments are written purely for humans. Comments are written purely for humans. You could delete every comment from a working program and it would run exactly the same way. The value isn't in how the program runs, it's in how easily human can understand it later. So, a good rule of thumb professional developers always follow. Comment on why you did something, not just what the code does. So, let's focus on the first one, that is single line comments. Single line comments. So, in Python, a single line comment starts with a hash symbol. If you focus over here, it starts with a hash symbol. Anything after the hash, that is calculate the final price with tax. Anything after the hash on this line is ignored by Python completely. Okay, let's create one Python file. Let me open my VS Code and let's write a Python file, and the name of the Python file is going to be comments underscore demo.py. Okay, now let's write our first comment over here. This program greets the user by name. Name is equal to Alex. Print f, that's the f string. Hello, name, welcome to the program. Now notice two things over here. First, I used I used a comment, hash comment on its own line. On its own line. The right above the code, it describes that's called a standalone comment. So this one over here is called a standalone comment. Now, if I put a comment over here, prints a personalized greeting to the user. Now, this particular comment, this is an inline comment. Okay, so this is at the end of a line of the actual code. This one is a standalone comment, and this one is an inline comment. Now let's run this and confirm the comments don't affect anything. So first of all, I'm going to go to file and save this, and then I'm going to open the terminal and I'll type python comments underscore demo dot py. So it says, hello Alex, welcome to the program. So here's our greeting, exactly as expected. The comments didn't change the output at all because Python skipped right over them. Now let's discuss on the another topic, that is block comments. Now let's say you need to explain something bigger than one line. Something bigger than one line. Maybe a whole section of logic. That's where block comments come in. So a block comment is just multiple single line hash comments. If you check over here, multiple single line hash comments stacked on top of each other, on top of each other, usually explaining a chunk of code that follows. Okay, let me show you practically over here. This section calculates a simple discount. We take the original price and apply a 10% discount and then print the final price to the user. So just three lines, three hash lines in a row, each one continuing the explanation from the line above. There is no special syntax over here. There is no special syntax for a block comment in Python. It's literally just several single line comments placed together. Okay, let me finish this complete program over here. Suppose price is equal to 100. Okay, then discount is equal to, that is price into 0.10, that is 10% discount. Final price is equal to price minus discount. Print f, that is f string, final price, final price. Okay, now this is inline comment that I have put. Now control S, that I have saved the file now. Okay, okay, I go back to the terminal and I, you know, run this command. So here we have the final price is 90. The final price is 90. So it is printed correctly. The block comment above it was purely for the human read. Purely for this human read. Okay. Now let's come to the another one, that is this one, docstring. Triple quoted strings right after diff function or class. Okay. Now let's look at a completely different kind of a comment. Okay. This is a completely different kind of a comment. One with real syntax of its own called a docstring. Now this word docstring comes from the documentation string and it's used specifically to document what a function or a whole program actually does. Moreover, this docstring is written using three quotation marks. You can also either, you can also use single quotation marks also. So either single quotation one like this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or three double quotes wrapped around a block of text over here. Okay, let's see this in action. So now what I do, start with a function that says calculate underscore discount price percent. Okay, then this in double quotes. Okay, yeah, okay. Now I say calculate the final price after applying a discount price, the original price of the item, percent, the discount percentage to apply. Now discount is equal to price into percent slash 100, that is divided by 100. Then final price is equal to price minus discount, and then return final price. Okay. Now right under the function I wrote three double quotes, three double quotes, then a description of what this function does, then what each input means, then closed it with three double quotes again. Now this entire block is called the docstring. And here's what makes docstring genuinely special if you compared it to regular hash comments. See, Python actually stores a docstring as part of the function. You can access it using something called underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. Let me show you. Now, suppose, let me delete this all, and let me print calculate underscore discount doc. Okay, let me save this. Now, let me run this file. Okay, over here, if you see, check this, and now check this. Python printed out entire docstring back to us, word for word. That's something a regular hash comment can never do. A simple hash comment disappears completely once Python reads past it. So a docstring actually lives inside your program and can be retrieved later. This is exactly how tools like help work in Python. If you ever type help print or help on any function, Python pulls that function's docstring automatically to show you how to use it. Okay, now one last detail. Docstring can also go at the very top of an entire file to describe what the whole program does. Okay, for example, let's talk about this one over here. comments comments underscore demo dot py. A program short program ca- calculating the final price of an item after applying a discount. So simple triple quote syntax, just place at the top of the file instead of inside a function. So let's lock in what you learned today. First, we had this single line comment. So single line comment use hash and a Python, and Python ignores everything after it on that line. So basically use these for quick short explanations. Either you can go with the standalone ones or the inline comments. Okay. Then comes the block comment. So block comment are just multiple, they are just multiple multiple hash lines stacked together to explain something bigger. Same symbol, just use in sequence. And a docstring and a docstring that uses triple quotes. Okay, that uses triple quotes placed right under a function after this def function of area or at the top of file. And unlike regular comments, Python actually stores them so they can be retrieved later using underscore underscore doc underscore or tools like help. So now your action step for this video. Now go back to any Python file or create your own Python file. Okay, you have written so far in this series, even hello.py from our very first program, and add a single line comment explaining what it does and a docstring at the top of the file describing its purpose. Once you have done that, you have learned a habit that separates beginner code from professional code. Writing for humans, not just for the computer. So now, in the next video, I'm going to dig deeper. So I'm going to see you there. In the meantime, revise all the concepts and happy learning. See you.